Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to February 16th virtual support group webinar. We've been launching this since, I believe, last year, 2025. I believe we continued it this year specifically and just to continue to address the needs around employment. So these support groups is really geared to our clients, but we want to really link them to the community, so they are able to access this information as it is needed, and multifacetedly, to pretty much understand the nuances and some barriers, to gaining employment. So today, we will be launching. Yep. So let's get this thing started. I'm gonna give a big shout out to Jill Scott on tuning us in, bringing us into today. Very, very kind. Again. So yeah, today we will be discussing overcoming barriers to employment. This is important as we know that many people face a lot of barriers when it comes to employment. We just can't get up and go get a job because there's certain things that's preventing us from even doing that. So to be able to be sure that we're able to gain that type of employment and that type of access, we need to really understand those barriers that we are facing individually. If we are able to understand who we are to the society and how we actually are forward facing the society, we may be able to understand how to potentially navigate the barriers accordingly in a way that is feasible and understandable, to society and yourself. So today, we will be discussing overcoming barriers. Give me a second, as this is important. Most of straight up employment clients we know really come from backgrounds where they may not have thought of careers being the main focal point of their existence in society, or a way of them to actually build on um, a portfolio of work experience. They didn't see it. A lot of my clients don't see it in that magnitude. So being able to zone in on this potential subject is very important, as we want to ensure that our community members really understand those barriers. That sometimes we get mad at ourselves for not doing things and not being able to accomplish certain um, daily needs such as employment. So, looking at the structure of what it means, what does barriers mean, right? How does that even relate to even employment? So we will be looking at that today. All right. So give me a moment as I start up this PowerPoint. Should start up soon. So this PowerPoint that I'm begin soon to hopefully get the startup is really related to overcoming barriers to employment, right? So give me a second to start this up for everyone. Yep. So overcoming barriers to employment. We're just gonna discuss some tools and strategies for success as it relates to potential employment opportunities, right? As we all know that we can't just sometimes jump up and go get a job. We got to look at, uh, you know, certain things such as, do we have our documents? Do we have social security cards? Do we have our birth certificate? IDs? Those are barriers. Um, is transportation an issue, right? That will be a barrier to get into a certain opportunity that may be a distance from your home location. So thinking of things in that magnitude are like barriers. Justice involvement, as you know, even having justice involvement brings several societal collateral consequences, and we must even think of that like what are those barriers in that regards, right? And how can we move accordingly? So we will be discussing some barriers today, but in a sense, just to give people a good idea on what barriers to address, or what barriers they have, or just simply how to hurdle over barriers and obstacles that come in our way as it relates to employment. So many people, as mentioned, face challenges when looking for work. Those challenges may stem from transportation issues, past justice system involvement, um, some pending matters, which is not as serious, and as your record is concerned, as those that are of those convictions, those convictions that's on your record. Thinking about that, those arrests really don't show up, but more so convictions, whether it's a municipal or a high level, superior level matter. Those convictions really can take a toll on you, right? As a person that's looking for employment, and even your employability, right? Being able to project out because you know that is on your record. So understanding that really is can really gear you to navigate accordingly, and hurdle over those barriers. Gaps in work history are essential barriers, right? If it's been 5 years since you had your last job, that may be a concern when it comes to employment. As we all know that when you send in your resume or your job application, it goes into a pool of competitive candidates, and you kind of sit into that pool of potential candidates, there's usually a process of elimination, right? So they'll look at a person with gaps in work history versus a person not, a person with justice involvement versus a person not, a person with even limited professional networks, right? When we're looking at those references, right? Having those professional networks that are able to, advocate on your behalf and give employers the knowledge they need to actually hire you. But these challenges don't define your potential. They actually give you alternate ways to navigate them. So you got to think alternatively when it comes to barriers. And here at Straight Up Employment Services, we're here to help you navigate that. One of the most significant barriers that we see often is transportation. Public transportation, getting to work reliably can be hard. And so most of our solutions here is usually public transportation, linking you guys to like One Stop Career Center or any other organization that actually assists with granting bus cards. As you know, it may, some may, some won't, but um we all understand that it's crucial. This barrier is crucial, and that there should be um more more effort with trying to understand how to get to and from work opportunities, whether it's through bike, whether it's through train, whether it's through a vehicle, and understanding those routes and schedules kind of give you that ability to do just such. Ride share or carpool partnerships. Getting into employment, understanding that there may be someone that works fairly and live that works with you that lives fairly close to you that may be able to offer potential ride share or carpool options, flexible work schedules to also fit the transportation needs. If you are seeking public transportation, you must look at those work schedules and your work schedule and see how you can alternate it to benefit you in accordance to public transportation routes and schedules. There's a lot of ways to navigate transportation barriers. One is understanding that everything costs. So here at Straight Up Employment Services, we look to link you to organizations that may be able to assist you with transportation barriers, that may be able to offer you bus cars, offer you bus passes, or things of that nature to get you to and from employment. Plain, but As we think about how can we navigate those transportation barriers accordingly, we must think about what we can do, right? In the meantime, it's kind of planning our route ahead, using apps like Google Maps or Transit, like use your digital functions. I think that these platforms on these phones really give us the ability to navigate accordingly when it comes to various options to getting to and from a place. Ask about remote or even hybrid work options. Look at, meet with your job developer, discuss options that may be remote or even hybrid. So you're traveling sometimes of the week or you in your home some. Explore carpooling, as mentioned, or programs that offer transportation assistance. Lyft community program. There used to be a community program from Lyft. They spearheaded it during, I believe, the time of the pandemic. I don't know if it's still around but meet with your job developer and have them see if those programs are still exist, right? So you can actually, gain some momentum when it comes to transportation assistance. Work on a plan to pay off fines to retrieve licenses. If there are any hinder driver's license and employment, and getting a vehicle is actually getting your license. So look at that. Don't wait to the last minute to start working on it. Actually look at it as a possibility, something that you can do now. Work on that or reach out to the court if you have to schedule court dates to advocate on your behalf to the judge, to potentially get your license lifted, as it is a hindrance to jobs you may be able to get on a time payment plan or whatever exists in the court. And study to get a driver's permit. That is usually the best course of action to address those barriers in the community. So a second barrier we want to address is, those past arrests or convictions that may affect job opportunities, right? So as you may know that being justice involved, there may have several collateral consequences that may impact you from gaining employment. Now, this is not, some employers are policy based where they can't hire someone with a certain record, but most of them are discretion based where they can look at it and approve whether to hire or not. Look at look at your record, right? Look at that and see if there's any possibilities to expunge anything. You want to start those processes earlier than later, so you can assist, you can actually get a better job that it can in that assists you with once your record is clear. So record clearance resources, look into that. There may be several record clearance resources out in your community that Straight Up Employment Services usually post on our Instagram. So go to our Instagram, stay local on that, stay up on our Instagram, and look on our Instagram to see all of those resources that we place on there, usually in our story, that's related to expungement workshops that is in communities. Resume and interview coaching to highlight skills and growth. You should use the way you interview, right? The way you present yourself is very important. And use your resume as a way to highlight, your growth, right? So all of that speaks for you. Seek employees that are fair chance employers. That is usually a great option. That is usually a great option. With the ban and box policies. I'm also working with expungement on record sealing programs. You know, going to those community organizational events that pop up in your community and seeing what you can do there. Practice explaining your story with a focus on personal growth and new skills if things have happened in your life, which you have gotten a record from. Work on, advocating on your behalf and explaining to yourself, working with your job developer to assist you with explaining to employers what happened, right? And how you have made growth and what you have learned for those type of situations. And that's very crucial. We want to address another gap, which can be gaps in employment history. Looking at those gaps as our employers look at it, employers may question those gaps as it indicates that you may not have stayed at a job at a certain period of time, or you're not reliable. Those type of notions when employer sees gaps in your work history or too many jobs in 1 year. So solution highlight some transferable skills from school, volunteer or life experiences. You should join internship, apprenticeships, or volunteer programs, or even work with straight up employment services mentors to build some professional experiences. If you are the clients, or if you are a community member with those gaps in employment, remember apprenticeships, volunteer programs, highlighting your transferable skills from school, volunteer, or even life experiences can kind of fill in those gaps for you. Highlight what you did in those times, right? Specifically while you were volunteering, whether you were caregiving, in a sense, or training, right? Emphasize those transferable skills, such as communication, leadership, problem solving, that you have was able to gain through your experience. Join internships or short-term trainings to rebuild your resume as well. So limited networks, fewer professional contacts and mentors may be a barrier. So if you want to do more of that, get good references, I would advise you to attend a lot of networking workshops or events, whether it's virtual or in person. Participate in a lot of mentorship programs that can give you those skills needed, those contacts needed to um, place as a reference if needed, or even to get some good advice on certain careers that your mentors and your professional contacts should kind of lean you to the way where your career paths is, where you looking to lean to your career path. So build those connections with employers, peers, and community partners as well. Attend job fairs, community events, as well as our workshops. Keep continuing these workshops and stay in your email as we send you a lot of opportunities via email. Connect with mentors, coaches, and peers. Use LinkedIn or social media to reach out to professionals in your field. And if you need assistance with setting up a LinkedIn, please reach out to your straight up employment services job developer. Or if you are just a community member watching now, please be sure to go to straightupemployment.org, complete a referral form on our homepage, and someone will be in contact with you within 24 hours. Some tools and resources, public transit guidance, and some legal resources and expungement support, resume building and interview prep, as well as mentorship and job placement are all tools that Straight Up Employment Services provide for our clients. So feel free to reach out to us to get some information on how you can navigate these barriers, because we know that this will prevent us from even applying to a job. So we want to make sure we are able to even take the first step. And the first step is understanding those barriers so we are able to not navigate them, identifying your personal barriers, right? So your action plan should be, right, identifying your personal barriers. Um, Pick strategies to overcome each barrier, right? And set 1 to 2 concrete goals per month. to actually address those personal barriers so you can, move forward, and not have to worry about barriers when it comes to employability or, just tending to societal norms. All right. So thank you all for tuning in. As it's always a pleasure to have these workshops, as most of the time we don't get this information until it's too late, and it's always good to have these type of spaces where we're able to provide this information to our clients and community members, to be able to navigate employment accordingly, and to be career readiness is to understand yourself. And I want to thank you all for tuning in. We have one more session next week. I will be sending out emails and invites, and posting a flyer online. If you want to tune in, tune in. I do not see any comments or anyone in the chat, as this is like on panel mode or something. But to my clients, reach out to your job developer. They will be able to assist you with anything that you need, as it relates to employment. To anybody that's a community member that's watching, feel free to go to www.straightupemploymentservices, straightupemployment.org. Complete a referral form there, and a job developer will be with you in 24 hours.